plan to open a company tomorrow, what will be the five main characteristics or the main behaviors that this company should have to be future ready, considering the challenges we have in a cultural perspective, this after COVID that we will live, that we don't know what will happen.
Sure.
So how do you see the future?
Well, I mean, I'm very cynical when people ask me for a list of 5 things. That's like, tell me the 5 things I need to do to fall in love. What are the 5 things I need to do to make a friend? I'm like, I'll tell you, but it's not going to work. You know? Now, there are some basics, without a doubt. There are some absolute essentials, but it is by no means a complete list. And recognizing that the company is staffed by people, and the people who will use the product or the service are also people, right? It's by people for people. And so understanding that is really important. And any leader who understands creating an environment in which people feel like they're part of something bigger, give them a just cause to help advance. Give them strong values and judge them by those values, that they can live by those values. And have them work with people who share those values, not just people who are just good, right? And think of the people who are using the product or service. You know, engineers are a funny group. You know, the number of times I use an app or a website and a box comes up and it says something and then it says dismiss. And I'm always very nervous to hit dismiss because I don't know if it's going to change everything. It's because in engineering talk, dismiss means close the box. But for me, I'm not an engineer. Dismiss means cancel everything. And so why can't I just say close or okay? You know? And this is what I mean, which is think about the people who use the stuff, but it goes for the leader as well. Understand stress comes from other places. And one of the great things about COVID is I think a lot of leaders learned a lot more about empathy. For example, prior to COVID, if somebody's performance was in decline, the story would tell ourselves is they're lazy, they're stupid, they don't care, right? They're sloppy. But because of COVID, when somebody's performance is in decline, our narrative is maybe someone's sick, maybe they're struggling at home with their kids, maybe they're suffering the trauma of COVID and they're off their game. And so our instinct changed during COVID. Instead of calling someone and saying, what's wrong with you? We started saying, are you okay? What's wrong? I'm worried about you. And I really hope that survives because that is such an important lesson about what good leadership looks like. And so if I'm going to recommend anything to anybody, when you start a business, remember it's people first and the numbers come later.
Perfect. And I just received 2 questions here. I'm afraid of the time, but I'd like to do at least 2 because people are sending many questions here. The first one is from Patricia Avelar. The name is Brazilian. Maybe she's Brazilian. I'll read here. How can a leader involve people with a low sense of cooperation who don't seem to care about other people, whether they are clients or co-workers?
It's a hard question and it's a very real question. We all deal with this. The reality is we can't force anybody to do anything, and we can't change someone's mind. Now, what we can do is adjust our narrative. Why are they like that? Are they like that because they're just difficult people? Possible. Or are they like that because they have immense pressure on them that we don't understand, maybe from their boss? Or are they like that because they have other things going on in their lives? Maybe they're having marital problems. I don't know. And one of the things that's important to do is even though they may be difficult, we can still ask them. We can say things in meetings to them like, "What do you feel? You know, what do you think about that? Want to get your input?" And we can show them. We can demonstrate the behavior. We can't push people to be good leaders. You can't. It's just too difficult. They have to make that decision themselves. But what we can do is we can choose to be the leaders we wish we had. So we operate within the guidelines. I'm also a great believer that if someone's difficult, don't spend so much time with it, because you're going to spend so much time for the opportunity of very little gain. Focus on the people who do get it. Focus on the people who are inclusive and are cooperative. Give your energy there, because when you focus your time on the people who are cooperative, what you get is more cooperation. When you focus your time and energy on people who aren't cooperative, what you get is less cooperation. Now, yes, you can give somebody feedback. You can sit down with them and say, "Hey, you were really difficult in the meeting today. I just want to make sure you're okay. You were kind of aggressive. I just want to make sure everything's okay for you." In other words, we can exercise the empathy muscle even if they don't. But generally, the obsession of trying to convert someone and convince someone, I'd rather you spend your time putting it in place where you're going to have more success than less success. In other words, focus on the people who get it.
Perfect. And another one that came from Juliana Posada, I'll read because it's long. I recently saw one of your last interviews published on YouTube, where you say, comparing ourselves to others might be natural, but it's also deadly. Taking an infinite approach, what recommendation would you make to young leaders who want to produce admiration and less comparison with their lives and careers? Good one.
Difficult question. We have a very, we have a very comparison life these days. It's easier for us to compare our lives, our jobs, our everything with our friends and colleagues, right? You just log onto Instagram and you see that everybody's boyfriend and girlfriend is, smarter and prettier than yours. Everybody's vacation was better than yours. Everybody's meal looks better than yours. It's like we kind of Instagram. It's a comparison machine, and then it's an intimidation machine as well, because you have all the likes, which we're comparing our likes and our followers to somebody else's likes and followers, and all these things are all over the place. We can't help ourselves. And so for young people, it's difficult. For anybody, it's difficult, but for people who've grown up with that, it's particularly difficult, especially because it's really addictive. So one thing I always recommend is take a break from that stuff. LinkedIn as well. My sister had an experience where somebody who worked for her at her old company walked into her office and said, "Can I have a promotion?" And my sister said, "I don't think you deserve it yet. Maybe one day." And he said, "Well, it's okay. I don't need the money. I don't need a raise. You don't even have to give me more responsibility. I just need the title because I need to put it on LinkedIn so my friends can see." Right? So when did a promotion come about comparison versus about earning it for hard work and hard effort? It's a reward. It's not a thing to put out there. And so I think talking about it is important because it makes us aware of it. And be worried about how you're doing, not how everybody else is doing. As Theodore Roosevelt said, comparison is the thief of joy. And this is where I think the infinite mindset really, really helps. There's a wonderful Chinese story. It's told many ways, but this is the way I know it, of a young man who's born with a remarkable ability for horse riding. And everyone in the village says, "You're so lucky." And the monk says, "We'll see." He falls off his horse and his leg is broken and it destroys his riding career. And everyone in the village says, "You're so unlucky." And the monk says, "We'll see." And then war breaks out and all the young men are sent to battle, but he can't go because of his broken leg. And everyone in the village says, "You're so lucky." And the monk says, "We'll see." And so whatever we're doing in life, it's not final. And good news, bad news, who knows? And so I think one of the dangerous things is to think of things as good or bad or right or wrong. If you adopt an infinite mindset, you start to think of things as ahead or behind. And the comparison is to be a better version of yourself, to grow yourself. Compare yourself to yourself. And don't worry about other people are doing unless you're learning from them. If you're not learning from them, you're just hurting yourself. You can absolutely look at other people to learn lessons from them or to reveal your weaknesses, but focus all the comparisons on how you're doing.
Perfect. Simon, I would like to thank you for your time. I believe that was a very, very good conversation, many insights, good learning, and that's it. I believe that people would like to send more questions, but I'm afraid of the time, so I want to thank you. It was an honor to meet you again, and see you next time. And I will remember to send you paçoca and a dulce de leite.
Please, I look forward to it. And I will have to then go back to the lifestyle of trying to lose weight by a certain date as a result. So thank you for that.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Gabriel. Nice to see you.
Good to see you. Bye. Turma, super obrigado. Quero agradecer a todos que ficaram aí até o final da conversa. Foi um papo super bacana. Para quem não puder ver agora, vai ver depois. Então tá gravado. Para que estão chegando aí na gravação, vão saber que isso aí já foi em alguns dias. Mas quero agradecer a todos vocês novamente por terem participado do Oracle Fest. E fiquem ligados, tem muito mais coisa para vir. Até a próxima. Valeu.
Y la verdad, deja ya de mentir. y tus labios besar. Sé muy bien que eres tú quien será mi final. ¿Quién será mi final? Toda tu luz mata mi oscuridad, dejas afuera toda la realidad y me arrepiento, guárdate la verdad. Déjame ir al sur y tus labios besar. Sé muy bien que eres tú quien será mi final. ¿Quién será mi final?